Hello everyone, my name is Orn and today I'm going to talk about 5 books that changed my life. What makes a life-changing book? Well, that's a difficult question to answer as life is nuanced, but for the purposes of this video, I've based my choices on books that have increased my self-awareness. These books are in no particular order, and my aim is not to review these books, but show how they've had a profound impact on me and also address some key themes. The first book is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. My initial thought was that this would be a self-help book, but it turned more into a philosophical and psychological investigation into my own mind. Right away, I was questioning my motives for my actions and thinking about the decisions that I have made in the past. The rule that provided the best source of self-awareness for me was Rule 2, treat yourself as if you're someone responsible for helping. What if our altruism is done at the expense of our own health and well-being? Profound questions like this remain true throughout the whole book as you're left picking up the pieces of your former self. My suggestion is to read this book multiple times. I've had it on a reread cycle every 6 months since I initially read the book. Perhaps happiness is always to be found in the journey uphill and not in the fleeting sense of satisfaction awaiting at the next peak. The second book is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and in sharp contrast to the previous book, Can't Hurt Me doesn't so much ask you thought-provoking questions as it does inspire you to drain every single inch of energy out of your soul. This is the only biography of some kind that I have on this list, and that is for good reason. This book will make you look into your soul and leave you wondering, what have you been leaving, as David would say, on the table. Key principles such as the 40% rule just act as a dressing to the fascinating story that David presents. Side note, I actually recommend listening to the audiobook because this is the best audiobook I have ever listened to. No longer does any challenge seem too big or any life hurdle seem too large for you to overcome. There is no shortage of motivational messages in this book, but as David reiterates many times throughout the book, motivation is weak, but it's the desire to pursue something greater than yourself that will make you achieve victory in the end. And never forget that all emotional and physical anguish is finite. It all ends eventually. The third book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Better habits equal better decisions equals a better life. Then why do we all struggle to create good habits and shake off the bad ones? This is what this book addresses. Quite simply, it's a manual for establishing and maintaining good habits. What I found life-changing in this book wasn't so much the concept themselves, as potent as they are, but rather the way in which that it was written. As I was reading through this book, I was seeing points in which he was detailing the mistakes that I had made in the past, which is both enlightening and terrifying at the same time. One concept that really drew me to this book was the concept of environmental design, creating a design of your livable environment that enables you to create better routines and habits. If there's one book that you go for habit formation, it's this book. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you are done. The fourth book is Essentialism by McKeown. I had the pleasure of speaking to Greg as part of our Book Talk Today podcast earlier this year, and what became evident during our conversation was that being essential is living a life of purpose. Too often we fill our diaries with activities that we are not inspired to undertake, or purchase things that are completely unnecessary. Reading this book made me think harder about saying yes to certain activities. If I couldn't imagine myself being excited by the proposition immediately before I undertake it, then it is a polite no. Restructuring your time this way means that you can live the disciplined pursuit of less, as Greg talks about in this book. We often think of choice as a thing, but a choice is not a thing. Our options may be things, but a choice is an action. The fifth book is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Dealing with adversity is an unfortunate side effect of living, so it is good to read from philosophical thinkers that are much smarter than us about a template for living through adversity. This is where The Obstacle is the Way proved effective for me. Although I don't consider myself to be a Stoic per se, I do believe that there are frameworks within this philosophy that enable you to deal with adversity well. Reframing is a popular psychological tool that we can use to gain more perspective on our life. But there is one tool that Ryan talks about in this book that never loses its potency, and that's action. We are all dealing with our own personal adversities. So if there's a framework for us to live by in order for us to deal with these adversities, then we are the better for it. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's my 5. Comment below on a book that has changed your life. I can't wait to see your picks. Until the next video, thanks for watching.